All right. Welcome, Kevin Sandbloom.
Hey.
When you start one of these things, typically we have to wait. We build an audience, and I know it's a Sunday afternoon, but I am completely and utterly faithful that we will have people join us. So,
Somebody's going to get in here.
Oh yeah, it will. It will. People will, because I've shared it. We did an invite, and it's a nice group. I have really lovely followers on Environmental Coffee House. So
Yeah.
we have liftoff. I think we have liftoff. Okay. So we're going to start, and please share, whoever's here with us, share. So we have an audience, and we can get some really good questions going on a Sunday afternoon. So Kevin Sandbloom, Red Llama Music. And
Yep.
I am going to explain really quickly. I found you through the Doomosphere videos. I came in and saw you talking and started to listen to your videos, and I thought, wow, he's really good at this. And I was hooked. And I'm a huge fan of Hambone. We're friends, but you're completely different. And you cannot have too many voices in this movement, because it's not a movement. It is reality. It's life. Abrupt climate change is upon us. So welcome, Kevin. Kevin, so tell us who you are. He's just one of our peers, guys. He's a musician.
Right. Well, yeah, I'm a musician, father, and I came across the information of abrupt climate change probably a few years ago, and I was taken aback, to say the least. I was, or scared out of my mind, or upset, angry, and all of these other things rolled into one. But anyways, I was a traveling, touring musician for 10 years, and I decided to stop doing that about a year ago, and that's actually when I started my channel talking about abrupt climate change, because I had, I didn't have time or the wherewithal or the bandwidth to do anything about it, or talk about it, or speak on it, or start trying to connect with people about it. And so when I stopped traveling full time is when I had, some space in my life to start doing my videos. And so I've been doing it about, probably less than a year. I think I started in January. I'm not sure when the first day was. I should probably keep track of these things, but maybe not. So
maybe not time,
I've been doing it, for 11 months now, and I've been building an audience, and very slowly but surely building an audience. And here I am. Sandy is one of the viewers, faithful viewer now, and so
faithful
So she, invited me to. I believe I watched Hambone's interview with you on this your channel.
Oh my God, the brutal interview, the one I did to him, or he did to me.
The one, one you did to him.
Oh yeah, the one that scared everybody half out of their pants. Yeah, that was quite a day. That was also a Sunday afternoon, though. But this is a lot different, Kevin. Kevin, when you were scared, duly, right? It's frightening. So I'm going to ask you the how, when, and where. Where are you? How did this? What did it feel like when you started reading the material and digesting it? As we are not scientists,
right? Where am I physically? I'm in Los Angeles. Where am I, spiritually or emotionally? That changes, fluctuates day to day. I first started hitting upon basically Guy McPherson. To also Kevin Anderson, and then I just started watching all these videos, all these scientists
We have a weird connection, Kev.
It struck me. It was Guy McPherson who struck me, the most, because what he was saying, the way he was putting together the information as a whole and drawing conclusions about what these scientific interpretations mean, was more kind of saying, like, this is getting bad, guys. This is looking pretty terrible. We should do something, and then you have Guy McPherson saying, there's nothing to do. It's game over, which is, a whole other
ball game. Oh, I don't like.
It wasn't his message of game over that was the big thing for me. It was just where is correct thing.
We have a little bit of an
it's up to you to believe. It's up to you to believe, huh?
We have a little bit of an audio issue.
Did you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you now. Say the names again. Guy McPherson.
Yeah,
and who else?
Beckwith.
Paul, yes, okay.
Kevin Anderson.
The regulars.
The regulars, the cast of characters, the scientists that are speaking about abrupt climate change or climate change as it is happening, unfolding, in real time.
Yeah.
So,
No.
what I was saying was, whether you think it's game over, whether people think it's game over, that's, that's up for debate, et cetera, et cetera. We can definitely discuss that. But I think, what is happening in climate change, as Guy McPherson describes it, and as other scientists are coming to realize this is what's going on, I think is the important message.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, well, I tend to agree. I'm not, I guess, as fatalistic. I live day to day, just like you. I read everything, but we still go on with our lives. We still have a life. And I know that you have kids. And that's always tough when we're talking about these topics and seeing all these things that are happening around the world. Care to comment?
Yeah, self living with two, so basically, like, I live life as if it's going forward and everything is happening, like nothing is wrong, right? And that's kind of how you have to function or operate if you have children, right? You can't, you have to operate as if everything's, everything is what it is, and be a positive force in their life, and be a parent, and raise your children with awareness. You can't necessarily make them aware of what is actually going on, but you can make them aware of, like, biology, or how, plants, animals, how the ecosystem works together as, as a whole, right? As one. I have a little garden going with my daughter, and I talk about these things as much as I can, with my son, but it's, to get into the actual,
well, they're young,
the brutal, you can't do it. You can't do it, really, without, so it's a very, very tough line to walk, and so I have to be aware of who I am as a father and as a parent, and I also have to be aware of what the reality of the world is, and eventually that reality is going to make itself apparent to my children, and I just have to be there and be willing to be. I have to be supportive. I have to be able to explain what's happening, and I have to be honest and truthful and forthright about this is what's going on.
Well, what's going on, Kevin? What's going on?
What is going on? Yeah. The destruction of our biosphere.
Yeah, that's what we talk about.
Yeah.
Oh, so all right. Let me take a question, because actually Heidi says, could we explain who these people that Kevin spoke about are? I don't know about these people. And I think, what did Trevor say? Okay, so a little bit about the scientists for Heidi.
Yeah, well, there's myriad scientists out on YouTube. I urge you to, you can just Google their names. Paul Beckwith is one. Guy McPherson is another one. That's McPherson. Hide your government from your kids and kids. Yeah, oh. Good. Peter Wadhams. There's Kevin Anderson. Is it Jason Box? I was just reading an article from him in my video that I did today. There's you start with those guys. There's Natalia Shakova. Look her up. Start with those watching. They will, they will lead you to other people talking about the same information. These scientists have credible information. They are reporting on peer-reviewed studies. They are reporting on what's happening in real time and giving us information about where we are going. Due to our activities.
The sober data, as stated in the Impossible Conversation, data that is not to be dismissed, data that we have to live with. The Arctic sea ice, for example, you talk about that because you read the articles. What Kevin does is, Kevin's a reporter. He finds the articles. I publish them. We publish them on Environmental Coffee House, and we publish all of these scientists' work. Kevin will read and talk and discuss about an issue. So, for example, Kevin, the Arctic sea ice. I think that's a good one to talk about a little bit.
Yes, it's a big one, and that's what's, one of the main drivers and one of the main harbingers of, where our climate system is going is the loss of Arctic sea ice. We are very close to losing the majority of the sea ice in the summers, which would be called a blue ocean event. And that is an event that many scientists fear will, put forth more feedback loops and more cataclysmic warming, because once you have a blue ocean event, you lose the reflectiveness of the ice. You have the dark ocean absorbing more energy. You also bring about other, we're already seeing weather patterns being disrupted because of what's happening in the Arctic, because you have high warming going on in the Arctic, and it's pushing out the cold polar air down to, the United States, Siberia, Russia. You have blue warming, polar vortex events going on. And that's basically all a polar vortex is that the cold air is being pushed out of the Arctic, and you have, so you have heating events in the Arctic going on. So while we're experiencing this ultra cold, what's happening in the Arctic is they are too warm. So
yes.
That means very bad things, right? Especially in the winter time, if that's the time when the ice is supposed to be recovering, and they're 20 to 30 Celsius above normal, the ice cannot recover.
It's painful. It's painful for me. I can't stand it. I want to go to Greenland, but I don't know if I could afford it. I'd love to see. I'd love to see for myself. Torstein's up there.
Yeah.
So I like that you have familiarized yourself and really become, I'm fiddling around with these screens to see what's the best fit. I like that you have familiarized yourself with all of this technology, and you understand the climate science behind it. How was that for you? Was it basically from videos, or do you have some books that you follow? Do you have anything that you follow for us?
I mean, it's mainly articles and video, that I've been following as I said, Guy McPherson, Paul Beckwith. Paul Beckwith is very good about putting out very informative videos on a regular basis. Heidi is asking, but can you please give one sentence about who they are? Well, let me see. Paul Beckwith is I believe he was an engineer at first, and now he works in Canada at the University of Ottawa, and he basically teaches climate science. And McPherson is a professor of ecology, and I believe forestry. I'm not sure. Maybe I got that wrong, but he also is. Yeah, so McPherson basically gives worldwide lectures. Says no audio. Is that from me or from her?
Jean, but just keep going because not everybody is the same.
Right. So, McPherson basically travels the world speaking about what is going to happen to our planet in the very near future, and he is also known as Dr. Doom, or as he said, Guy McStinction last night.
Yeah, Extinction. There was
he's basically painting a very dire picture for the future of the planet.
Do you buy into it all the way?
Yeah, Kim says I can hear you. So from the UK, he's a scientist who particularly he studies Arctic ice. Who else? Kevin Anderson is also British climate scientist. I really like Kevin Anderson a lot because he is probably closer to McPherson as far as where
ideology.
He thinks, yeah. I mean, he's not necessarily like it's that's it. We're done. But he is very much. He just pulls no punches. He's very straightforward, and he has really. I suggest Kevin Anderson videos. He's
Well, that's how I've been learning too with videos. But I've ordered books, and I signed up for a course on climate change in the University of British Columbia, and I'm trying to find the time to do all these things. So that is hard, even though I'm retired, medically retired, but it's tough, and I don't know how you do it. Working full time, dad, a musician. All the things you do. How do you find the time for this? I mean, this is reality. How do you find the time?
I barely find the time. Is the answer? Is that I'm struggling to have the time to. Trevor, good question.
Right. Oh yeah, Trevor's awesome.
I mean, well, so here's the thing: is like you don't need to be a scientist, and you don't. If you have a basic grasp of cause and effect, the law of cause and effect, physics, ecology, environment, how things affect each other. Like if you can just grasp these basic subjects, you can understand where this is going, like what's happening,
If I can, and I mean, I was an HR person, and if I can, and I'm understanding CO2, and I'm learning about methane, and I'm learning about the jet stream, all of these things we all can. And everybody here knows that I share pretty much all of these, the same information you're looking at, I share on the page. We publish, a lot of information, and it is a plethora because I wanted to make it with all kinds of different things under what I call the environmental umbrella. It's huge. And I just happen to fall into what we call the doomosphere, and abrupt climate change. I mean, it's all real and happening, and it's scary, of course. Yeah. What are we going to do, though? We don't have the choice in vehicles. We don't have, there's so much, there's so many impediments in the way.
Right.
What do you think?
What are we going to do is a really great question. Or how do you go about going forward? I mean, I find myself, I've gone through a whole journey of like, I wanted to kind of, give up my entire, lifestyle and change everything about my existence. And very, very quickly, I realized how difficult that was. Yeah. And now, I've come kind of full circle into just trying to do the little things, that I can on an everyday basis, while still being trapped in this paradigm of industrial civilization. And the fact that I have kids makes it doubly hard to, to get out of that. The fact that I don't have the money to go, buy a house, off grid somewhere, in the forest and live, a completely green lifestyle. Like I just don't, I don't have, I don't have that. So where I'm at is I'm a person who's living in the current, American capitalism, trying to do the best with the information that I have and trying to alert other people about what's going on, try to, give other people information, and wake up people, one at a time. And that's really the best we can do. And that's why I'm doing this channel, is to just add another voice and hopefully reach, a couple of people a day. And I do, and you do, and Hambone does. Like we all reach a couple of people a day, and we start a very slow movement into what I don't know. I mean, like, it's, you're talking about trying to turn around the Titanic, turn around, you're trying to turn around a glacier of what we have been doing to the environment for 100 years, right? Glaciers are very slow moving. They're very large objects. It's very difficult to stop a glacier, right? Glaciers are hugely powerful.
Yeah.
So, you're talking about trying to, a few people trying to push up against this huge glacier of modern industrial civilization. And it's, the feeling is it's an impossible task, right? Mm-hmm. But I don't know. Maybe there's, there are other things to do. About you may not be able to push up against a glacier and stop it. You may be able to get out of the way. You may be able to get on top of the glacier. You may be able to undercut the glacier. You may be able to change the course of the glacier. I don't know. Like there are a million possibilities in life, and you cannot count anything out or any possibility out until there are none. Until there is zero.
Exactly. I do like that thinking, because on a pragmatic reality basis every day, we get up and we live our lives. And I tell everybody that that's how you do it. And work locally. And if you can do something political locally and make your existing environment better, if you can, that's always something that's I think is good for the soul. And Marcia says, grasping the urgency of the crisis hopefully leads to activism. Right on.
Right. And that's exactly why I do this channel. And that's exactly why I appreciate, the doomers, quote unquote, because the doomers are there to, they're scaring the hell out of people. But look, we need a lot more fear right now. People need to be afraid. People need to be afraid of what the future is going to look like in order to
get them off their ass,
in order to take some action. Right. Because continuing to just go along with what's happening, to continuing to allow everybody to live these lifestyles that we live, is obviously our demise.
I know, and everybody here that's with us for this this interview understands, because they're with me, and I talk about these types of things. And it's like a journey we've been on of learning. And Trevor, he's an amazing person. He is, I'm going to put one more comment by Trevor up. Trevor, he says, thank you, Kevin. Sandy, I believe we need to educate people. They can use their own eyes and do not need to be a scientist to see the earth is changing because of humans. That is, Trevor is a water quality expert up in Canada, and he is he's really cool. I'm going to send you stuff on his page and all that, because I don't want to. I don't want to screw it all up for Trevor. But thank you, Trevor. I think that Environmental Coffee House says fantastic followers. And I wanted to introduce them to you. This is an introduction,
Right.
not a long video, but an introduction so that we can start a dialogue. And possibly I'd like to have you back where we
Sure.
can talk about maybe some specifics. I know
Right.
the thing about fear, that's something that I've delved into a bit, fear and grieving, because basically grieving is something we're doing. We're grieving for the planet. And I say I embrace the grief, and that makes me want to do more. It
Right.
actually does. What I can do within my power, in my little local environment, and then this. And that's
Right.
why I like you, because you're my peer, and
Right.
you kind of discovered everything the same time as me. It's at least online to do it, because I was doing political commentary. So
Right.
this is,
Right. Well, and that's actually one of the ways that I came into finding out about climate science. Is I'm a huge political junkie, and I'm also kind of a closet conspiracy theorist, and really, like, I've gone down some very deep rabbit holes, but the deepest rabbit hole is absolutely climate change. And the worst part about it is that it's so real. It's so, devastatingly real, that it's a rabbit hole, and it's also just, it's so obvious that there's nothing about it. There's nothing about it that's conspiratorial other than, the power.
We've done it.
Like, don't look at this. Don't look at this.
Yeah. Well, we've done it. We could get into a whole plethora of conversation about the scientifically illiterate, now I call them, because I asked my followers for a term besides climate denier, and it's scientifically illiterate. The people, and then they are the status quo, and some of them, and they are damaging and frightening, and they're politically in office now, and we don't have time for any of these conversations, but we can go on and do this again, because I know that you are limited in time.
It's all good. Well, the thing I wanted to say about that is that, everybody has been raised in this paradigm. Everybody has been raised with this programming, this cultural programming, right? We've been programmed since birth to do the things that we do, to live the way that we live, to aspire to the things that we want to aspire to. And is it any wonder that there are so many deniers? Is it any wonder that people cannot grasp this, right? Because it's outside of the realm of your programming, right? When you try to tell people that, the entire, everything that you've been told about how to live life, or what you're doing being right and true and good and all that stuff, becomes basically false, or becomes basically a lie. Like, it doesn't, it just doesn't surprise me to that so many people are like, oh, I can't, process this information, or I can't believe this information, or I want to deny this information. Like, that's not saying that's okay, but it's completely understandable, right?
Well, denial and you said fear and fear, and it's
a huge one.
It's an acceptance, and it's not just of our own personal mortality. That's the thing. It's an acceptance of what we have destroyed around us. And Heidi had asked a question about highlighting some of the specifics of what's coming. And Heidi, this is going to be a shorter interview because Kevin has to go to work. But we're going to do this again. Kevin's going to come on again, where we can get into some.
Do you want to spend 5 more minutes, and we'll just kind of go over a broad brush.
Go for it.
The specifics about what is coming is that. So Heidi, I also suggest that you Google Arctic News, the Arctic News blog. That's Sam Parana, who has very good information about the possibility of, so here's what's coming, and also what Guy McPherson points out or explains, and that is there's a very strong possibility of an exponential rise in heat in the next 10 years, 5 to 10 years. We could see 3 Celsius to 4 Celsius degree rise in temperature and beyond. So what we're seeing right now at 1 degree Celsius rise, with all the hurricanes and the floods and the fires and the droughts, right? The entire globe at 1 Celsius, and we are losing crops. We're having crop failures all over the world. So at 2C, 3C, 4C, just extrapolate, you know, extra, just go down the line with what we're seeing now, and try and see, you know, try and foresee what the world would look like at maybe 3C or 4C, which is not pretty. Guy McPherson has said Guy McPherson has said at 4C there's no humans left on Earth. And Sam Crana has said this, Guy McPherson has said this, we're looking at possibly 4C in 5 to 10 years. So, you know, and it's terrible. That's terrible news. I don't like to say this. I don't want to be saying this. I don't want to be like,
no.
Yes.
Okay.
This is going to be just numbers, the information together. This is what's going to happen.
We're having a little bit of technical.
I was just saying that it's unfortunate, and it's an understatement.
Yeah, I know. Well, we do publish this stuff, Heidi. You know, we put all these articles up, and we, you know, if you want to learn, just come to the site and read some of the stuff. It can be very scary, but it's invaluable information. And Kevin's YouTube channel is up on the screen, and it'll be in the comments. And it would be great if you guys want to learn more. Kevin does the news. He will read environmental news, and he will educate you. And then as time goes on, you can, you know, pay attention a little to what we do in the science arena, and we absolutely will help you along. I'd like to have you back, Kevin.
Yeah, absolutely. Let's do it again.
I really would, and soon, because there's a lot of issues that we could go over and help people with together, and maybe cut.
Maybe
you
we
know,
can do it again.
Pardon me?
What do you think about doing it like next month? Let's do it like in a month.
That sounds good to me.
Right.
How about that? What do you think, everyone? All right. Well, because I know, Kevin, you have to go to work, and I liked doing this introduction. It was really, really nice to have you with us. And I wish we could go on, because I have so much I'd like to talk about that. I think you have really done a great job and your homework. You know, that's why I like watching you, because your commentary is very good after you talk about the articles, but you're not winging this. And when you don't know something, you say it. And that's why I really like Kevin, guys. And so thank you so much. And I hope you have a wonderful day at work. And would you like to say a parting comment?
You know, just keep the faith. Keep you know, striving to know more, and keep looking for more information. And you know, I think we can. I think there's possibility for change. Absolutely.
Wow. On that note, on the hopium note that I like to say.
Yeah, he went there.
Yeah. Thank you very much, everybody. I'll put some links up for you also. Okay, in this chat, and I'll do it today. I won't put it off like I do. I've done before. All right. Somebody, I just got a quick, Lark said Arctic news is very interesting. Just opened it. Thank you. Oh my gosh. Yeah. Now Heidi's sending in all kinds of invitations to watch this, and we're leaving. But again, next month. And you can see Kevin on his channel. So go sub Kevin, and then you can hear him talk about the news that we publish. So have a great day. All right. Thank you so much, Kevin. All right. Bye.
Bye.